What is up, awesome tubers? Welcome to another episode of the Nightmare Show. And today we're going to be talking about the world's most notorious female serial killers. It's not very common for a female to be a serial killer, but the few that are very dangerous, and I would not want to make them mad, female or not. You don't want to get on their bad side, and here's why. Here is the world's most notorious female serial killers, 10 of the world's most notorious female serial killers. Here we go, let's start this list off. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And if you're currently subscribed, thank you. And we're going to kick this list off here. But first, a message from our sponsors.
This episode of The Nightmare Show on the David Awesome channel is brought to you by Thumbs.
I can be a lifesaver. Treat me like a job.
Yeah, smashing. Smash that bell button and smash that subscribe button. Alright, awesome tubers, so here we go, 10 of the most notorious female serial killers. And before we get further onto this list, I want to say that I'm getting all this information off InsideHook.com. Thank you for the information. And with that being said, let's start this list off. And like I said, you would not want to mess with any of these women or get on these women's bad side, because you'll end up dead and 6 feet under. And you'll have to explain to God how and why you got murdered by a woman. At number 1, we have Aileen Wuornos. Born in 1956, Wuornos killed 7 men in Florida between 1989 and 1990. She shot each of the 7 at point-blank range, according to the New York Daily News. She was captured after a minor traffic accident in one of her victims' cars. She told the police that she murdered the men in self-defense because they raped her. While she worked as a prostitute, however, she was sentenced to death for 6 of the murders in 2003. A movie of her life titled Monster and starring Charlize Theron was released to high praise. At number 2, we have Judas Buenano. And I gotta say, most of these women have some really hard names to pronounce, so I'll do my best. So this is Judas Buenano. Buenano killed her husband James Goodyear, according to NBC News, her son Michael Buenano, her boyfriend Bobby Joe Morris, and potentially her boyfriend Gerald Dossett. She was also believed to have been involved in 1974 murder in Alabama and attempted to murder her fiance John Gentry. She's a real keeper. You're gonna want to take this one home to mama and daddy. They'll love her. So Buenano was executed in 1971 for the murder of her husband. She was later linked to many of the other murders. She was the first woman to be executed in Florida since 1848 and was the 3rd woman to be executed in the U.S. since the reinstatement of capital punishment in 1976. At number 3, we have Juana Barraza. Barraza was a Mexican professional wrestler. She was born in 1957 and was known as the Old Lady Killer. She murdered between 42 and 48 elderly women and was later sentenced to 759 years in prison. Wow, awesome tubers, 42 to 48. That is crazy. That's a crazy body count for a serial killer regardless, and for a woman to do this is very unlikely. She would beat or strangle her victims and steal their possessions. She was caught in 2006 and found guilty of 16 counts of murder and aggravated burglary in 2008, according to the New York Daily News. At number 4, awesome tubers, we have Jane Topin. Topin was a nurse who killed dozens of patients. According to NBC, she was nicknamed Jolly Jane. She confessed to 31 murders after her arrest in 1901. She would kill the victims with different combinations of medicine and chemicals, and even climb into bed with them after administering the dose. She was found not guilty by reason of insanity and committed to the Tantone Insane Asylum for life. Well, I would say she is right where she belongs. At number 5, I'm going to try to pronounce this name, because she got fried. Gottfried was a German serial killer who was the last person publicly executed in the city of Bremen. She killed 15 people using arsenic, probably between the years 1813 and 1827. She would mix the poison in with her victims' food while caring for them as a nurse. So she was a poisoner. She poisoned people. She killed her parents, her 2 husbands, her fiance, and her children. Could you imagine being that crazy, awesome tubers, where you would poison your whole family like that? I don't know about you, but I wouldn't be going to eat at her restaurant or over to eat at her house. At number 6, we have Amelia Dyer. Dyer is only convicted of 1 murder, but her name is attached to the murder of hundreds of infants and children. She worked for 20 years at the baby farm, according to the New York Daily News. It is suspected that she killed over 400 infants, which would make her among history's most prolific serial killers. She was tried for murder in 1896 and convicted and hanged. Goodbye to bad rubbish. At number 7, we have Kristen Gilbert. Gilbert was a nurse who was convicted of 4 murders and 2 attempted murders of patients admitted to the Veterans Affairs Medical Center in Massachusetts. She would inject patients with massive doses of medicine, which is an untraceable heart stimulant. The medicine was called epinephrine. I'll try to pronounce that word, but that was the medicine she was using, and it's untraceable, and it causes the heart, to probably go to cardiac arrest. This would cause cardiac arrest, and she would respond to the coded emergency herself. She was convicted in 1998. She is serving a life sentence at Federal Medical Center, Carswell in Fort Worth, Texas. So she's still there today. If you'd like to go drop by and say hi to her and give her a little visit, maybe bake her a cake. At number 8, we have Nanny Doss. Doss killed 11 people between 1920s and 1954, including 4 of her husbands, 2 children, her 2 sisters, her mother, a grandson, and a mother-in-law. She was known as the Giggling Granny, the Lonely Hearts Killer, the Black Widow, and Lady Bluebeard. Her main method of murder was rat poison. She pleaded guilty and was sentenced to life imprisonment. She died in 1965. So this is another poisoner and another woman that poisoned her whole entire family. And she does look like a little bit of a wacko. I mean, look at that evil smile. She's just waiting for somebody to cross her so she can poison them. At number 8, we have Dorothea Puente. Puente ran a boarding house in Sacramento, California, and murdered her elderly and mentally disabled boarders. She would then cash in their Social Security checks. She was often called the Death House Landlady. Oh yeah, come over to my retirement home. It's totally safe. I'm not going to murder you and steal your checks or nothing. I look like a really nice person. You look at these big old glasses. I'm harmless. Little did all those people know she was very harmless. She was later sentenced to 2 life sentences. She died in 2011 in prison at the age of 82. At 9, we have Miwiku Izukawa. Izukawa was a Japanese midwife, and I probably botched that name, but this is a Japanese name, so I did my best. Izukawa was she murdered infants with the help of accomplices during the 1940s. Reports the New York Daily News estimates suggest that she murdered between 85 and 169 people, but the general estimate is 103. She sought payments for the murders since many of her victims were deserted children. And she said her services cost less than raising an unwanted child. She received 4-year sentence. She only received a 4-year sentence? Are you kidding me? Wow. Well, that's kind of sad. Well, awesome tubers, I hope you enjoyed this episode of The Nightmare Show. Let me know in the comments what you thought the scariest female serial killer was on the list, who you thought was the downright most creepiest. Me personally, the creepiest ones are the ones that are supposed to be nurses and helping people out, but instead they drug them and kill them. They're known as angels of death. That's really a sad thought if somebody's supposed to be taking care of you that actually is going to end up murdering you. So just take that into consideration. Just because somebody is a nurse or an authority figure or any type of, the whole any position in society that is supposed to be like a decent job and they're supposed to be a caring person if they have that job, just know that it doesn't matter what kind of job title you have, they could still be an evil bastard. Police, cop, nurse, doctor, it doesn't matter. Anybody's capable of being evil, so watch your back out there, awesome tubers. I hope you enjoyed this episode of The Nightmare Show. Until next time, stay scary. Boo!